Yes, we go on to the next alert because we are in a battle, we are caught in a war. And these broadcasts are battlefield instructions. Those who will listen may be able to save themselves and their own people from the damnation, from the carnage coming their way if nothing gets done. And so we come to the question of this 2023 election that everybody is throwing all over the place. The general overseers in the church asking their people to go and get a PVC. Others saying there are millions of them who will vote in one direction, forgetting that the entry point is controlled by the enemy that has a dog in the fight. Now, we continue to dissect the things that are being done, but which many do not understand. The election 2023 is actually the third plan in the hierarchy of Plan A, Plan B, Plan C being executed simultaneously by the enemy in that fight. And if you want to know who that enemy is, look at this map again. Look at this map very closely. The caliphate that imposed that 1999 constitution, which tie up the rest of the country, the rest of the land, which confiscate the sovereignties of all, which seizes the assets of everybody, which seizes the right to work those assets, which seizes all the guns in the land. That caliphate that imposed that enshackling constitution, that apartheid-like constitution, are the ones trying to take us to election to save the life of that constitution, which the rest of us in the alliance have defeated. By the constitutional force majeure activation of 16th of December in 2020, we have defeated the 1999 constitution. Everything going on now is that those who were drawing governmental powers and authority, mark the words, powers and authority. And if you want to understand it, you go to section 14.2a to see the relationship between the two. Those who are illicitly drawing powers and authority from the constitution, the fraud of a constitution validated by our signature implanted without reference to us. They are the ones who are trying to save that constitution by going to election that will validate the life of the constitution one more time, that will renew the life of that constitution. The rest of Nigeria, in that alliance of the South and Middle Belt, that want to save themselves from the damnation, from the extermination that is coming upon them, from the conquest that is being executed against them, the ethnic cleansing that has been unleashed against them, are the ones saying they will not go to another election under that constitution, insisting that we must go to transition now to terminate the life of that constitution and to restore the sovereignties of those whose sovereignties have been confiscated by sheer force under the code name Nigeria. The Nigeria we negotiated died in 1966. The Federation of Nigeria is no more, but there's a country still pretending to be Nigeria in place. There's that country in place, but there's no federation. And so the federal government that have been, all the federal governments that have operated since the collapse of the Union Agreement in 1966 have been illicit federal government. We're not at all talking about the personnel who is president. No, we're talking about the federal government of Nigeria in a situation where the federation had collapsed and we are running a unitary system. And so we come back to what are the things, what is this enemy doing? What are the rest of us doing? Like I said before, there is a plan A, there is a plan B, and there is a plan C, which is where the elections come. This caliphate is already in full ferocious swing in their plan A of invasion and conquest. That's their plan A. That they will come upon everybody having laid claim to the entirety of Nigeria, saying that it belongs to them, that they are born to rule others, and that Fulani from everywhere all belong here. such that in the ethnic cleansing campaign we see, sweeping southwards, they want to conquer the place outside what that constitution permits, outside what they have gotten by way of the constitution they impose. Because if they conquer physically, their hold on the land will not be based on the constitution. They know that constitution has been defeated. We are the one, it is the South and the Middle Belt that do not know. They are still hanging on to that constitution. The people who know have since moved on to Sharia in defiance of that constitution that says there should be no state religion. The people who know have since moved on to building, integrating. They know that the union is at an end. They are busy integrating their part of the country with Niger Republic. That's why the railways that are connecting Niger, that's why the refineries we don't have that are being built there, that's why the railways we don't have that are being built there, that's why the road networks we don't have that are being built there. That part of the country, that Caliphate North, is being integrated with the Niger Republic. Of course, we know where the Buhari himself told the people that went with him in the cross-border operation at the time he was GOC of the 3rd Division in Jos across the border. He told them that his family originally came from Niger Republic. So we all know, and there's no offense by being of Niger origin, or Abacha being from where he is from, or all the other ones in between. Now, the danger we are pointing out now is that the financing for the heavy infrastructure that is being put in place now is coming from loans obtained in the name of Nigeria by this sectional agenda. Billions and billions and billions of foreign loans that have been deployed to integrate the economy of the Caliphate North with Niger Republic. And those monies are being borrowed against the assets of the alliance. Some of those, agreements, loan agreements, especially one with China that's written in Mandarin language, also puts in a clause. I'm sure you will remember the controversy when it arose, that there's a clause to cede sovereignty to China if they do not pay the money. And these are all the things being signed over our heads by people who have their own agenda. They are not doing so on our behalf. They are doing so for themselves and to our own damnation. These are things we need to put on the table so that they know that we know. So that those who are giving them the money will also know that they're just putting their money at risk unnecessarily, because from the time in December of 2020, the force majeure that raised a caveat to the international lending community not to lend any more monies to this disputed project called Nigeria until we sort out the sovereignty dispute that has been raised. Some have listened, they are not offering any loans. Others are not listening, and they are throwing loans to people who may not be on the scene at the time they come for their monies. That's by the way. But back to the main issue of what are the 3 plans that are being pursued? Because our people know about only one, the election of 2023. That is number 3 in the hierarchy of, in the order of importance, in the order of, execution. The first is the one that is going on now, raw conquest. Overrun them, become the owner of the place, everybody on their knees, and then other discussions will come. That's plan A. Plan B is one in which the same people that are pretending not to have the capacity to contain the terror that is going on are going to compromise our security further by this kind of thing they're already doing, to the point where they will assume martial powers. We saw when the Attorney General wrote a memo that leaked to his principal that they should suspend the Constitution. They want more, they will require more powers than currently available to them in the Constitution of now, so that they can advance their conquest more rapidly. And the way to assume that depth of power is compromise the security situation to crisis, to chaos level, such that they will say, oh, in the face of what has happened with security, we now declare martial law. They can launch a coup. They can do the kind of thing we saw in Afghanistan. They can just suspend their rights and all of that. That's plan B, and that is closer. The way they are going, the kind of carnage we see may come to where they say, oh, on account of this level of insecurity, we now suspend, all the rights, like we saw in 1984, and all of that. So that is their plan B, and they are working around the clock to get to that, so that they can continue their conquest unchallenged by the inhibitions placed by this constitution, as bad as it is. The plan C, which is now again a decoy for driving the plan A and B, is the election of 2023, by which they have occupied the thinkers and political merchants of southern Nigeria and Middle Belt. Oh, whose turn it is. Meanwhile, even being the plan C, they are third in the hierarchy of options. They already secured the outcome for themselves. They are in control. The caliphate is in control of the two parties. The caliphate is in control of INEC and the military that will, police that will carry the ballot boxes, and the returning officer that will announce who won, those who will count the vote. They are the ones printing the PVC. They are the ones that will give whoever they give. They know the demographics. If you are 10 million in an area and they give you only 3 polling booths, there's a maximum number you can return from that area where you think you have those numbers. They may also give 50 polling booths to an area that has less than 3 million people. And so they get numbers that will outweigh the ones you got from. So these are all the kind of gerrymandering that have been going on in our electoral processes, which is why the results are always baffling. But we are now laying them bare on the table for those who are pinning their hopes on going to win election. And that is where the men of God in the land who are telling people to go and get their PVC, they are not listening to us now that the constitution by which the winner will govern will render the lives of their flock more unlivable. They are going to continue to be killed. They are going to be more impoverished the day after that election, no matter who wins. But the people who are inviting you to that contest, the APC, they have already abandoned this. The carcass of APC that they've left behind, like they left the carcass of PDP behind in 2015. They've all moved to where they want to go. PDP today, a Fulani candidate in the person of Atiku is likely to emerge in that PDP platform. So they drag you to the point where there's a semblance of election, and the world will think that there's been a contestation, but they are in control of the outcome. And that's why part of what they're doing is to make sure they keep throwing it up as the most urgent thing to do, and our people are jumping, buying form, waving PDP and APC flag, whereas the people they are contending with already settled the outcome of that election by seizing the two political party platforms and seizing control of INEC and the military and police. That's the security services. So whatever anybody is thinking, this broadcast should get to reach all of those who are inviting people to elections. The political merchants, if you know anybody in PDP, from the chairman to the national officers to the governors, all of those who are mobilizing you now, including women leader, church leader, let them see this video, that the people they are coming to compete with already settled the outcome. Their strategic pursuit is to keep that constitution that killed the rest of us and impoverished the rest of us, alive. Whereas we have defeated that constitution by what we have done, and we can actually go to where we decommission it and free our people from the bondage. Take them to referendum in a transition so that they decide whether they want to continue in this union, and if yes, on what terms. That's where we now begin to talk about the degree of autonomy acceptable to them. But they first have to vote whether they want, by referendum, whether they want to remain in union with anybody or not. And then if the majority say they want to remain, then we go to that's when the question of the kind of constitution that will be used to moderate that union will come up. It's not now. And so let it be made clear to all that those who in the face, those from the south and the middle belt, who in the face of this invasion, happening to us, these killings that are coming upon us, this ethnic cleansing that is already ongoing, are distracting everybody by talking about the election, which is something the outcome has been predetermined. There's nothing you can do about the caliphate has a dog in the fight. They have a candidate in the election. They are the ones who conduct the election. They are the ones who print the PVC. And whoever wins the election, when they do win, will have to swear to defend and uphold that constitution, meaning that we are back to where we are. Meanwhile, there's no slowing down in the conquest they are driving. And they need you to be talking about the election where they are overrunning you, like we have seen. You saw them in Kaduna Airport. You saw them in train station halfway to Abuja. You saw them the day after the train station attack that they blocked the road heading closer to Abuja. We hear that schools in Abuja have asked parents to keep their children at home because the security situation, that's now Abuja. The day they blocked the Lokoja highway, nobody's able to escape from Abuja. Let those who are thinking that is far away from them listen now. Let those who see this video make sure it gets to the general overseers of the church and all of those doing party, whether it's APC or PDP or ABGA or Mega Party or Youth Party. All those things are in the plan C of this enemy that is determined to wipe us off and take over our lands. Let us wake up from slumber. This is something that can consume whatever is left of Nigeria is gone. We're not talking about Nigerians. Those who are talking about saving Nigeria should have done so 50 years ago. It's no longer possible to save that union in the manner they think it could be done. Now we're talking about saving those who are trapped here, the people they call Nigerians. Either we sacrifice the millions to save the Nigeria, or we sacrifice that Nigeria that's unworkable as defined by this constitution and save the millions that are now in distress. But it is the caliphate that is operating that unitary Nigeria that is killing everybody else. Let us wake up to the reality. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. Find out why the terrorists are making the demand they are making, and put all this information you already have on the calculus and see how close we are to Afghanistan. Thank you.